Here, we're going to look at the possible scenarios how the US economy is going to take after 2023. Now we're looking at 2024. So first, you got to understand that Jerome Powell said he's got to raise the inflation rate one more time, basically the interest rate. Interest rates got increased by another 0.25 basis points. But keep in mind, like a lot of people said this is like the end of the world because most news media like to exaggerate and overcomplicate things. And I think the worst part is they paint everything in a negative narrative. At the same time, I mean, I don't really fault them for it because a lot of people like to watch more negative things. It gets more clicks. I also wish that news media also cover more positive news articles. For example, the economy is going down, but hey, maybe this resembles like 2008 where the economy went down and it recovered. And during the time of recovery, the amount of people that became millionaires was basically the next level. And personally, here are a couple scenarios that could happen in 2024. So let's look at the negative aspect and what could happen or potentially happen, which only the future can decide, and how the US economy performs. So first, Jerome Powell said it does raise interest rates one more time by 0.25 basis points. Worst case is you look at around 1980, 1970s, and 1990s where the U.S. economy took a dumpster dive. In that case, they raised interest rates to nearly 20%. In that time, everyone was suffering through it. And if you look at it now, can that be possibly the case? So a lot of people from that generation, not my generation, who are currently now the retail investors, were like, oh my God, this is going up really high. But if you look at the history data, this is actually not even close to the worst. The worst is in the double digits. Could that potentially happen? If that did happen, then of course the economy will take a tumble. And of course, as you know, as the economy of the United States and all the other countries around all revolve within each other. So each person does trade with each other, and when one economy suffers, the other one suffers too. For example, the war between Ukraine and Russia, that would be a perfect example. How the economy suffers vary between any trade that's using, for example, grain commodities in Ukraine and Russia, and gasoline where Russia supplies to Europe. So that is where the economy takes a tumble from. Now, going back to where we were, is how does this affect the U.S. economy? So if they continue raising interest rates, then of course all the investors are going to lose their crap, going to lose their mind, and everyone's going to be taking a dumpster dive, and all the stocks and everything will tumble. And of course, the people, as I mentioned in a previous video, if they actually follow basically what people do back in 2008, where they invest when the whole entire economy is taking a dumpster dive, of course, you keep in mind, it will eventually recover. If the economy never recovers, like let's say it's in like Japan, which it's really unlikely to end up like that economy, then at that point, it's getting close to the end of the world. At that point, it doesn't even matter. So in this case, if that did happen, that would be like the most golden opportunity to basically start buying in assets, stocks, cryptocurrency, where you can invest in real estate. If it did take a nosedive, because real estate itself right now, it's still really hot. So real estate itself, a lot of people said it's going to crash. Even including myself, I said it was going to crash. And look, I was wrong. And majority of other people is wrong too. It's actually going up. It's going up because of supply and demand. So not enough supply, and the demand is trying to being suppressed artificially, but still, unfortunately, people still want to buy because houses, people need to live somewhere. Now, looking at how this affects the U.S. economy. So the U.S. economy, let's say they decide to go past, Jerome Powell decided to break his promise, goes past their interest rate raise. They go for the last one, then they start increasing it again in 2024. Then that one, I got nothing to say because the economy, everyone's got to flip their crap and everything's going to tumble. And during that time, maybe that will be a golden opportunity. For example, like Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett made a crap ton of money. That's because he took advantage of this situation. And right now, the situation is still ongoing. There's still a chance for anyone around, like anyone who are currently watching this video or watching other YouTube channels who relate to financial investment, maybe giving some type of financial advice. And they talk about U.S. economy. It's still a chance right now. It's a fair game. Because right now, you're still waiting for that last interest rate raise. And let's look at the positive side. Because the negative side is the economy keeps going down. It goes down even more because Jerome Powell decides to raise interest rates because the economy is not doing so well. Inflation is not doing so hot. And looking at the core PCIe and the PCIe inflation. So you look at those two graphs. Right now, they're trying to get rid of food and electricity. They're trying to look at all the other stuff. But that They're using that data. Now, if that data right now currently meets their expectations and they decide by end of 2023, 2024, they start to drop interest rates. So when you start to drop interest rates, if you take a look at a graph back in 2008, where the housing crisis started to basically subside, and meaning is everything started to become stabilized, the economy started tickling back up. And during that time, it's like the perfect time where everyone noticed, like, hey, this is the perfect time to buy. Now, if this all falls according to script, according to the federal government, then by 2024, they're going to start dropping interest rates. Keep in mind, they're not going to drop interest rates all in one go. They're not going to take it from like whatever 5.5% they're at and drop it all the way straight down to 2. No, they're going to go little by little, as is shown in a graph by Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell actually showed a graph in one of his meetings, his federal chair meetings, show what graph, how they're going to do it. They're going to go from like 5.5% and dip lower, 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 and lower, and lower. It goes all the way down to 2025 and whatever the data shows. So, at the same time, is what things could happen, which I guess you can call me a fear factor, a fear monger, is what happens, they start dropping it and inflation starts basically rising back up. Then, of course, has a chance of might raise interest rates again. That could be a possibility. And at the same time is, when you do investments or you do in business, it's always a risk. It's a risk that you take. Back in 2008, how people know that, like, the housing crisis, all of a sudden the housing bubble would just suddenly pop. Like, a lot of people called it out, but how a lot of people know? A lot of people didn't know, unfortunately. And now this is the perfect case with the COVID-19. And after COVID-19, the economy took a tumble, and a lot of people made a lot of money that time. And now, since the federal government decided, let's take it for round 2, let's raise the interest rates, tumble the economy once again. Another golden opportunity. So within these next few months, I'll still post an update for every month, not too often. But just keep in mind, watch for stocks. If you have a lot of cash and reserve in hand, maybe it's your time to make your move. Speak with your financial advisor. And if you don't have a financial advisor, then pay attention to other types of videos, not just including like my opinion. Look at other people's opinion and see how the market is doing, and look at history, look at graphs. And that's like the best time for you to make your move, because a lot of people talk about financial freedom. This is gonna be the time from the year starting from 2024 and going forward, because if this follows a script by Jerome Powell, then interest rates will start to decrease. That is when the economy starts to recover. When the economy starts to recover, everyone starts buying things again. All the prices are going to start raising up to a new level. So that's it for this video. I'll see you guys later, and I hope you guys have a nice day. Peace.